Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night Aftermath, the first season, episode 2. Last we left off, our coterie, the Iconoclasts, have collected themselves for the first time, really, and we're beginning to get to know one another. There's a reason that these particular kindred are put together under the supervision of Marjani Kalu in Baron Jameson's domain, and that is because each and every one of them the city has a reason to be suspicious about. Whether it's the threat of another hurricane, like the Camarilla, in the form of Ventru from Dallas, or if it's another Camarilla threat in that others suspect the Banu Hakim who've recently come to the city are becoming a cancer, or if other outsiders from abroad or born within the city itself are going to rip this city to shreds. And so, it's a new night for our iconoclasts. I'm sure each of them has individual thoughts about their coterie mates as well as their shadow, as the Camarilla would put it. Faust, why don't you give us an idea of what your thoughts are of your coterie mates so far?
Did you ask for me?
Yes, Faust.
What am I even doing right now? I've been bunched together with the curator of the Smithsonian, the grimdark version of Jabberjaw, and the vampire equivalent of a squirrel, all under the vengeful eye of Queen Cobra herself. I'm already exhausted from it. Suppose I must orient myself. Maintain composure. Despite the trials, they all seem to enjoy dredging me through. That said, Eugene, it's so much different here in San Antonio. I had the dignitas of Wulford and yourself to buffer the frustrations and projections of my peers. And I wish I could better understand what it was that made you so brilliant. What you did to earn that respect. It's going to be a long and difficult road, but it's the one you opened for me in your sacrifice. You chose Anarchs. And you chose us. Frankly, I can't allow that to be wasted.
Certainly not. An opportunity wasted would definitely put you potentially in some bad terms with other Ventru. But there are only a few in this city, so maybe it's important and maybe it's not. Who knows? You only just got here. But then there's Noel, who's been here a little while. In Texas, anyway. Why don't you give us an idea of your thoughts about your coterie?
My thoughts about this coterie. If you can call us that at the moment. We're that in name, not a lot else. It hasn't been a long time, but I see some things that are lacking. Let's start with the easy one to tackle. Ahura. Not the kind of a rare moment to say that, all things considered. But yes, let us start with Ahura. I see more than a few bodies landing at our feet before long. The blood on her hands. Isn't that gonna be a mess to clean? Let's just hope she has the tact to try and cover her tracks. Then we come to Maria. Maria. An outcast. Just by virtue of the bloodline she comes from. Quite a bit like myself, all things considered. But I think she has the potential to do a lot of good if she had a little bit more confidence in herself. I can understand why she doesn't. To be particular brand of what it is that she is a horrifying prospect to come to terms with. She hasn't had a long time to yet. She's still in that honeymoon phase, if you could call it that, and less honeymoon and more like absolute nightmare. But I think she could become something great with the right hand to mold her. And speaking of hands that wish to mold things, Faust. I pity Faust. He's so unsure of himself. Unsure of what it is that he should be doing. And I would hazard a guess that in his mind, he's wondering, what did my contemporaries do to uphold the name that I've been given? I could see it. It's obvious. It's worn on his sleeve. But I feel like his conviction's lacking, and that it doesn't back up the pride that he holds, that he very obviously holds in his lineage. I have to change that soon enough. He's gonna have to change that soon enough. Lest he wish his contemporaries look down upon him. I hear that's what happens in certain Ventru circles. He needs to show that he has what it takes. And then, of course, we come to the Setite. Marjani Kalu. The Baron seems to trust her enough to put her in a position of power. In my personal opinion, that's more for the Baron, but I'll respect his decision nonetheless. However, I don't trust Marjani as far as I could throw her. I believe that she's working a hidden agenda here. She has to be working a hidden agenda here. It's the only way to survive so long in a cutthroat environment such as this one. Especially when you're of belonging to a clan full of known liars and betrayers. So, Marjani is one to keep an eye on. Who knows? If she slips up, might be a way to slip into position.
A very bold thought about your supervisor. Oh, hooray. What are your thoughts?
Oh man, I'm having a ball. God, this coterie. This is gonna be so much fun. And Mama Marjani, oh, she's got no idea what she's gotten herself into. I'm looking around. I really like Maria. Sweet, sweet girl. Little timid, but I think her and I are gonna see eye to eye. At least in some circumstances. Faust likes to play it tough, but I think he's gonna be a bit of a pushover. We'll have to see. Still gotta get to know that, what did Maria call it? Banu Hakam. Yeah, Noel's gonna be an interesting one to get to know. He's so far held himself in an arm's length. But yeah, Mama Marjani. Ooh, I like her. Can't wait to see what else is in store for us.
Very straightforward and to the point. I suppose that's the benefit of a gangrel who knows what she wants and knows how to say it. But then there's Maria. You are perhaps the most interesting and the most solitary of this entire coterie because you are the only anarch of your clan, so far as you know. And Samantha doesn't have much to go on from here. So what are your thoughts?
Fact of the matter is that I ended up getting drafted into this. Sam, Lord bless her, she's been a godsend. You know, everybody else ends up looking at me like I did something wrong. Something wrong with me, or maybe everybody else is trying to end up saying, "Hey, I'm good with you." I mean, they say through teeth that are threatening to shit out of their head like chiclets. She never gave me that look. She stood up when everybody else said, "Throw her into the sun." That builds a lot of loyalty. And that gives me a lot of hope. I don't have a whole lot of that left. Well, when it comes down to this crew that we got going on here, look at Noel. I think that's some kind of French name. He's trying to be on the level, I get it. I think he's trying to end up doing it despite himself. All I can do is try and end up sharing the favor and hoping something will grow out of it. Meanwhile, you got Faustus. I have no idea what the hell his deal is. Part of me thinks all hat and no cattle. Then I remember I'm tied to him. My fate's, Intertwined, I think, would be the word he'd use. We're all four of us are sharing the same noose. So I guess it's about time I help him rustle up some cattle. And there's, Ray. Ahure. I think Ray just suits better. I don't know what it is. It's like the more the water's boiling over and all fire's sitting on the kitchen, the more she's just laughing. I swear she can end up watching an entire city burst into flames and she'll be the one dancing naked in the streets having the time of her life. And I don't know what it is in her that would end up giving her that, well, response. Is that something to do with the blood, maybe? Or was she like that before she was turned? She's got a devil-may-care attitude. Honestly, she's made a ton of stuff than I, and that... maybe there's a little bit of jealousy there. I think I'm also scared on the fact that I realize I am jealous of something that is... well, has the potential to be horrifying. And then I start to forget, for a brief second, that that applies to all of us. I don't know. I guess right now it's just keep treading water. Figure it out, find a way to be useful. I think I might end up taking a walk on yonder. Say howdy to the neighbors. Yeah. Get ourselves situated.
Situated would definitely make for an easier time of feeding, of existing, fending off the beast. That horrible impulsive noise in the back of your mind that's cranked up to 11 every night, especially if you get hungrier. And speaking of which, I would like everyone to make rouse checks for this evening. Seems that the voice is not as loud as it could be today, and suppose you're thankful for the small things. Hooray, Ray, or hooray, Maria and Noel. Each of you, when you went to sleep in that torpid state of a corpse, and you wake up to rouse yourself, you're no hungrier. You don't feel any more sluggish than you did last night. But Faust, that impulsive little part of your brain is definitely looking for a tasty meal. A tasty meal of something horrible. That blood that runs through your veins.
Something horrible. Yes. More so melancholic. It seems that I'm wanting to share the memory of a grief this evening. And frankly, I can't care all too terribly how that's done. Why should I have to ask for permission?
Why should you indeed? I suppose we'll open this morning, or this evening, rather, with Faust when he wakes up at a place that he feels a little bit more safe than the coterie home at this moment, in a bunker. A bunker underneath a tower in the middle of the city. A bunker that you know to be the dwelling place of your grandsire, Alistair Wulford. You wake up before he does, as is normal. Do you do anything before he wakes?
The bunker is interesting. It's somewhat amusing to what lengths one would go just to stay out of the sun. What we go to stay out of the sun. But I suppose there isn't a better place to be at. I go ahead, pull out a cell phone. It's a simple flip phone device, fairly sturdy, but easy to be rid of, should I ever need to. There was a number I received yesterday. One of particular value to me. I dial Officer Costaneda.
The number that you call is the police non-emergency line. And you realize this when someone different answers the line.
The dispatcher. Very well. Ask simply, hello, this is Faustus Beaufort. I'm calling in regards to a recent report that I made. There seems to have been some changes with the case that I would like to report. However, if possible, I would like to continue speaking with the previous officer that I was working with. Is she on tonight?
Faust, give me a high or low.
Hi, Clan, hi.
She's on her usual route tonight.
Wonderful. Could you request her to meet me at a, Do I know... Hold on, SD. Do I know... What is a park within the local neighborhood? Fairly public location.
You would know that since the location of the domain is fairly residential, there's not a hard park to find. You'll find some fairly small ones and a quite large one.
We'll choose the large one.
Okay.
If you would request that she meet me at this specific time at this park, that would be ideal. I would prefer to remain within a semi-outdoor area for the circumstances. I'm afraid I'm, well, rather indisposed this evening.
All right. I'll pass along the message.
Thank you. To specify a time, is 11 appropriate?
I suppose it would have to be, Mr. Beaufort.
Thank you. Take care then.
And the line hangs up.
Very well. That's done.
And it's shortly after that that you see that Alistair's come out of his room.
Ah. Mr. Wulford. Good evening.
Good evening, Faust. Did you rest comfortably?
More comfortably than I would have at the Coterie Haven.
Hmm.
Considerably so.
Very well. Busy already this morning. He sees the phone in your hand. Or
Yes.
this evening, I should say.
Yes. I've been trying to route and network within the city a bit more. I have plans to make some contacts within the area, hopefully of some value.
That's good to hear. And he goes to sit down on one of the leather couches.
I can work with people rather easily. People aren't an issue for me. But I'm noticing I'm having quite the difficulty with other kindred. I was hoping, perhaps, if I could vie for some of your advice this evening.
What seems to be the issue?
Our overseer, if I will, the keeper of the domain, Marjani Kalu.
Mm.
She seems to be of clan ministry.
Ah, yes. Very interesting clan, the Ministry.
I'm afraid I don't know much about them. My coterie mate, Mr. Stoneford, Noel Stoneford, he seems very intricately detailed, very knowledgeable on them.
Hmm. That's a good asset.
Quite.
But what I can say about the Ministry is that there were a few that were part of the Anarch movement in Dallas, and from what I gather of Anarch Ministry members is that, much like any other member of their clan, they are tempters. They believe themselves to be descended from the god Set of ancient Egypt. And, well, there's plenty of cremation myths out there in the midst of all of kindred kind, but some cling to their beliefs, and others are a little lax, much like any religion. But they all do one very important thing. They tempt you into becoming less of yourself. They will dangle these sweet, delicious fruits in front of your face and tell you that it will be the key to all of your troubles, when really it's a noose.
I suppose the same could be said for the goading.
The goading.
She's not a fan of me, it seems.
You mean Marjani Kalu specifically?
Yes. I mean, I'm noticing many aren't really fans of me. That was the one thing I discovered last night. It's under very basic terms.
You'll find
We are
You'll find that's the case for us being Ventru. You'll find that for the case of us being from Dallas. And you'll find that for the case of your personality. Whichever one someone decides that they don't like you for, they won't. But such is the weight. Such is the weight of Dignitas.
My hopes is that, regardless of how they dislike me, and I don't give them too much opportunity to hate me by basis of my actions. But they probably will. At the very least, say, Faust can get things done.
Yes, that's important. But if you must make an enemy, choose your enemy. Don't let them choose you. Because at that point, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And you might find yourself aligned with others who might share similar ventures.
I see.
So if an enemy is in the cards, Faust, make it for yourself. And others might fall in line and ally with you.
I understand. Suppose then I will have to align us, the coterie, by very different means. They're not all fond of me. I'll do what I can. I digress. With Marjani Colvin, my hopes is that I don't make an enemy of her.
Then do not.
How do our rent, so to speak? Our rent is to improve the domain, don't fade off of it, and don't break the masquerade. All fair trades, all fair deals. That's fine. What I'm looking for is to understand, in your experience, what do Ministry appreciate in their domains?
Each member of the Ministry is different. They all thrive on, I suppose a commonality between all of them that I've experienced is that where you can find temptation, that's where you'll find the Ministry. Now, it's whether or not that specific temptation is in the form of pleasures, or if it's in the form of all sorts of different things. They're all very different in their methods, or in their industries, as it were, I suppose. But I suppose within Miss Kalu's specific case, I can't say that I know her well enough to be able to gauge, but much like any kindred, one can assume that the places in which they can be found definitely revolve around their specific desires.
I guess that's true. I'll think on it. And I'll find out what I can do for her. If I can get away with it, I'll give her a decent reason to appreciate that I'm a part of her domain. Or
Really?
garner my own. We'll see. I appreciate it, Mr. Wulford. Your time is valuable to me.
And your endeavors are valuable to me, Faust. I look
I
forward
intend
to
to
what
make
you
you proud.
build.
Thank you.
Be interesting to see what happens. Who knows, you might even be in competition with me one day.
Oh. If I am, I worry. I know how fierce you can be.
Yes, I will not go easy on you.
I wouldn't expect less.
This is a game of chess, after all.
And I'm still learning to play checkers.
Baby steps.
I wish you a lovely evening, Mr. Wulford.
You have a great evening as well, Faust. I look
Thank you for your
forward-
hospitality.
Of course. You are my grandchild, and you are always welcome here. I'm sure
Faust
your
gets
coterie is looking for you at this very moment, Mr. Buford.
Ah, yes. Anxiously waiting to goad me once more. Dredge me through their insults. They won't get to me, though. Not yet. And Faust gets up. And, holds out a hand.
And he stands as well, when you stand. And takes yours. And takes your hand. And gives it a shake. Have a pleasant evening.
Faust puts their other hand on his. Gives a light grip. You as well. And, goes ahead and walks out.
And with that, where do you head, Mr. Buford?
Well, considering the timing, I suppose I'll go to the coterie house, meet with the rest of my crew. Is that what Miss Higgs referred it to? Crew? Yes. We'll go with that.
Are the rest of you already gathered there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I slept.
Yeah, it's
there.
Yeah, I'd be there.
Alright. So all four of you are now at the Coterie Haven. Maria's been pretty busy at work, putting up some this and that's for improving upon the house. Maybe making some mental notes as to what it is she can do to improve this place. But what are Ray and Noel doing?
Noel would be currently off in his own little corner of the room that he's kind of sequestered for himself. And there would be the sound of something scraping against metal.
Hey, what's that racket?
Maintenance.
Of what? You got a fucking metal arm underneath your shit there?
No, I do not. Scrape, scrape, scrape. It sounds kind of like a knife being sharpened almost, but louder.
Ray pokes her head into the room and her face is scrunched up and it's like, she's really very displeased at the sound of this. What are you doing?
What Ray would enter into would be Noel sitting down on the floor, kneeling. On the floor, a rather large whetstone. A rather large whetstone for a rather large-looking blade. Not a knife. Way too big to be a knife.
That's a big sword you got there. Sword? Yeah, I think it's a sword. Looks like a sword.
It is a sword. And
Why have you
no,
got a
it's not all that
sword?
large. It was a gift to me. From my sire.
Who the hell gives a sword as a gift?
It's traditional. And ceremonial. Although I like to keep this blade's edge very keen, just in case I need to use it.
So, like... Huh. How often do you do this?
Once a week. At
Oh
most.
god, I'm gonna have to hear this once a week.
Actually, the blade's finished. It's a very, very fine whetstone. Doesn't take off a lot of material. Don't want to grind this thing to nothing after all. And he would actually go ahead and put the sword away back in its scabbard and put both the sword in its scabbard and the whetstone back in a box that lies open to the side before closing the box and clipping it up.
Ray kind of steps into the room and she starts walking around, running her fingers over the books in the bookshelf. Every now and then she pulls out a random book and flips through a few pages. So what are your plans for the night?
I didn't actually have anything planned so far. Right now... Well, I heard something about a barbecue yesterday. It's just dependent on whether you all wish to continue through with that or whether we're doing something else.
God, you sound like you're behind on the ball.
I've been thinking
So
of my own ways to improve the domain, but nothing has come to mind that I would push through to fruition just yet.
Right. So you got plans?
I have the workings of plans.
The working of plans. Well, care to share with the class?
No. Not yet. Once they're finished. A good craftsman measures twice and cuts once.
What are you, Japanese?
No. Although... they're a wise
Sounds like
people.
some kind of Asian saying.
I can't remember where it's from, really. But I'm guessing you didn't come in here just to chat and that you yourself have something in mind, something to do tonight. So please, by all means.
You're coming for a walk.
I'm coming for a walk.
Yeah, you're coming for a walk.
And where is it that we're going to go on this walk?
Around the domain.
I suppose it might be an idea.
Well, like, I can't be the only one that knows the area.
True. And he'd stand up, go over to a drawer, and stash a small knife on his person. Basically inside of his coat, where someone wouldn't notice it.
Ray pays close attention to this. She raises a brow. You usually fight with blades?
I feel more comfortable with a blade in my hand than I do with my bare hands, yes.
Huh. Interesting.
So then, you wanted to go on this walk?
Let's go for a walk. What was your name again? Noel?
No.
Okay, Banu boy, let's go.
Indubitably. And, Noel will let Ahura lead the way.
That's about when Faust enters the house.
I gently close the door behind me, notice the sound of soft hammering in the distance. Revere. Back at it again. And see Ray and Mr. Stoneford walk down the stairs and enter the common spaces. And hold my hand up with my keys. Good evening.
Evening.
Out for a little bit of a meander.
I was gonna take Banu boy here for a walk. You wanna come along?
Nah, I'm afraid I'm indisposed this evening. I have certain...
You're lost.
It's an appointment. Before you go, Ray,
Yeah,
I have to ask something.
ask away.
Yesterday evening, as exciting as it was, many things I got to know about you, and I wanted to say I appreciate your time. I do. I also have to ask. Officer Costaneda, do you happen to know her? It seemed as if you had
Yeah.
an information.
She and I have had a few run-ins.
I see. Well,
Why do you ask?
To update, I'll be having an appointment with her this evening.
Right. Well then. Just, don't draw any attention to yourself, yeah?
Very well.
That cop is sharp.
Well, not as sharp as I might be in this situation. Go ahead. I leave you to your evening, and I'm wishing you a wonderful time. Faust steps aside.
Hey, Faust,
Yes,
don't kill her.
I wouldn't even dream. Is she important to you?
Nah. But, just know that if you kill her, there will be people on your ass. And she walks out.
Boy, how very pleasant. We have a walking, talking rap sheet. Noel mumbles this into his breath before following her out.
Well, if there are no cares to be given, no cares to be had. Not my problem. Faust walks over and finds Maria.
Right. Maria's currently in the spending. Maria's here currently in the basement, trying to keep the hammering down to a minimum, probably trying not to be too loud. There's only so much time to be able to do home improvements when you can only be up during the night. She's just finishing up, trying to end up getting a few patches done. There's only so much you can do on a low budget, but last thing anybody wants to do is slice themselves on a nail and not bleed.
Faust leans against the doorframe, just sort of observes her. You seem to enjoy busying yourself there.
Papa always said that near idle hands were the devil's plaything.
You know, I've heard something similar. There's one particular vampire clan who have this saying. If they ever get bored, they're far more dangerous than anything else. I think that's true for many of us.
Yeah, well, it's kind of the way it is. Is there something I can help you with, Mr. Beaufort?
I don't believe I had an opportunity to catch up with you.
She, at that point, ends up, putting the hammer down. Kind of ends up sitting on a bench that currently holds a lot of secondhand tools scrounged from, well, secondhand shops, thrift shops. Not exactly a lap of luxury. A few bits of scrap lumber or salvage pulled aside. Not much else. She's currently dressed in what seems to be a set of farmer's overalls and a shirt that's been stained with, well, stain, paint, whatever else you might end up imagining. Probably some motor oil in there. She just kind of ends up sitting on the bench and lets her feet dangle. Shifting her weight, so she's leaning a little bit forward as though threatening to fall off at any given moment. Well, speak your mind then.
I was just simply wondering a little bit about you. I've had the opportunity to speak with Mr. Stoneford. He's a gem. And I've also had an evening with Ray and...
Wild night?
God freeze. But I haven't had a moment to speak with you. And as far as I can tell, you haven't really been much to pipe up either. I feel like I have to wrench it out of you.
No. Just nobody cares. It's all that simple. I end up keeping myself quiet. I end up keeping myself aside. Nobody notices me. Is when people notice me, that's when they start having problems. So I do my best to not be noticed. Seems you three had it figured out anyway. The way you were speaking to Marjani, it was almost as though you guys owned the place.
Oh, she certainly didn't seem to think so.
Maybe not. But you had the gall to do it anyway.
And proceed to be reprimanded by it.
Maybe. But your hair moved on and here currently still... Well, I was going to say you're still sucking wind, but that's not quite accurate. Still, it means the three of you tougher than a $2 steak.
Suppose so.
And then there's me. So, that answers a lot of what you're saying.
You grew up in San Antonio.
Not far off. Ended up raising a farm. Problem is that Daddy got bought out. Of course, he ended up falling to the drink. A lot of bad habits, bad decisions. After he said that he was gonna live like one of those fat cats. We wouldn't have to worry about nothing again. And they got to the bottom of the bottle in the accounts. I moved into the city when I was maybe 21. Just trying to find a way to stay useful. I guess me working with my hands kind of ends up bringing me back home. Well, at least makes me feel like I can do something.
Faust goes ahead, goes over to the bench, and just puts a couple of the tools, sets them on the side, sits down next to Maria, pushes his back against the wall, seems to relax a bit. Well, it's comforting to know that there's someone who's local, of all of us.
Local and probably the most hated out of all three of you.
I argue that.
Take your chits.
Well, let's see. Marjani at least likes the fact that you can keep your head down. Meanwhile, I'm getting dredged by not only just about every other kindred in the city, but also by half the coterie itself.
Difference being that you just got here and I've been here for a year, so try and imagine how that first year went. Me being quiet and smiled about is just them saying that I need to keep my mouth shut, keep my eyes closed, and hope that today ain't the day where the guillotine comes down. Because they're still scrambling for an excuse.
Well, I don't think they're gonna find one.
They will.
Your survival instincts.
What you know about my survival instincts, Mr. Beaufort?
You're very pragmatic. I mean, we're undead. It's not like we need some great living conditions here. We are dust. We can exist in dust. But you still want to make it livable. For what that's worth. And at the same time, you're rather equipped for it.
Yeah, well, Papa didn't raise no princess.
They did a good job of making one.
Well, what do you want to know?
Well, I suppose the immediate thing that I want to consider, Mr. Stoneford, is... How did you put it? Banu Hakam?
I think he was little bit indignant. I'm still having a hard time not calling him Assamite.
I mean, he's an ass.
To kind of shoot you a sideways glance.
Part of the vernacular is correct there. Let me see. And I do know that Ray is, well, they're called gangrel.
Outlanders. Okay. Yeah, learned that one last night.
And what of yourself? Ah,
Well, you're blue blood, right? That's what they call you.
Bluebird. As Mr. Vargas mentioned last night, bourgeoisie. Faust does a little hand wave. I say that.
You do dress nicer than most.
I try to. But
Fair.
it gets expensive. What with the blood and all that.
Well, they do say that the clothes make the man.
I hope so. But what my clan is officially called is Ventru. And what I consider to call myself is a free Ventru. We choose to defy the traditions that our clans tend to originate with. There's all this talk, so many concepts about how I'm going to be some tyrant. Frankly, I can't help but consider that I want to be anything but.
Yes, what you does.
Foss shades a smile. Little Fox's smirk. And what of you?
Me? I'm a devil. Didn't you know?
I've met a lot of devils.
They say devil, fiend, stoker. I think the word is Romanian, Zamisi. Mean nothing to you?
Do I know what that means?
That is an
What do I-
intelligence occult.
Great. I don't even have a dot in a cult. Can I use politics?
If this is specifically about clan, the clan title and what you know about the clan itself. Politics is more about who you know who might be Zamitsi.
Alright. Got 2 dice.
Who knows, maybe you'll crit. One ain't bad.
You know the clan name. And you know that the clan is not really Camarilla. You never saw any in Dallas. Not that you're aware of anyway. And they're not Anarch. You never met any amongst the Anarchs in Dallas. So maybe they're independent? You're not 100% sure where the Zamitsi come from, but it's a name.
Stoker. Oh, like Bram Stoker.
Yeah.
Dracula.
Reason I read the book over and over again over the past year.
Did you know that a good portion of the vampire media is mostly just propaganda?
I thought something like that. A lot of it didn't add up. But I did hear one rumor. Dracula, as we call him. He's supposed to be very fucking real. Who knows? Maybe I'll live long enough to meet the old bastard.
If he's not whisked away at this point.
Yeah, well, suffice it to say, my clan is not looked favorably upon. And that kind of sucks for me because, as far as I know, I'm the only one in the city, and I am certainly the only one in the Anarch portion of this city. So, outside of what a dusty old book will tell you, and things I figured out on my own, I couldn't tell you a damn thing other than what they're worried that I'm gonna do.
What are you worried you're gonna do?
Well, first and foremost, I'm worried I'm gonna start suddenly developing a compulsion and end up putting people on pikes and post them on my front yard as a keep out sign.
I mean, look at the bright side. You're not a Nosferatu.
If I knew what the hell I was, Faust, I'd tell you. You now officially know pretty much everything I know. Apparently I can talk to animals, apparently I can make people do things, and apparently I can turn into bats or end up wolves or mist or something like that, and I haven't figured any of that out. But I know things are changing. Feel it every night. Something shifted. I can tell you exactly how many tendons are currently tight just from me sitting like this. I don't know why. I'm just very aware of them.
Faust cocks his head a bit. I'm surprised you can feel anything.
Oh, I can feel a whole lot. And if it wasn't for it being a complete waste of blood, I'd demonstrate. But right now, given the fact that, well, from what I see, we have a very limited hunting supply and we are on the verge of starving. Well, it's getting too late to get the hammer and drilling and power tools now. So, I'm gonna go meet the neighbors and, well, I guess first I need to go get changed.
Suppose you're right. Miss Higgs,
Yeah?
I understand you're worried. And Faust stands up and looks very sternly at Maria. But I need you to understand that as long as I'm part of this coterie, I will handle your concerns. You may always come to me.
Faust, I appreciate your kindness. But be very careful about trying to write a check that your ass can't cash. When I show you, when I need to show you, when we don't have to worry about pushing ourselves and going insane with hunger, then maybe I'll be a little bit more freeform with it. Right now, I'm just getting by.
as we all are. But it's easier to do so when you have company.
She starts to walk up the stairs. Stops for a moment, turns back. What do you want out of this, Faust? What you looking for?
Faust stares at Maria. And for a moment, you can see some sort of memory flash past behind his eyes. Home. I'm looking for home.
It's almost like she pauses all night. You know what's funny? I was tempted into posting a sign right on the front porch. Abandon all hope, ye who enter here. For this is where all things are left behind.
God, don't get all Westboro Baptist on me.
No faith. Faustus.
Plenty,
Sure.
just not that variety.
Given what we are. Secondly, I found out vampires existed. How the hell am I supposed to rule out God? I think right now I can easily say that God exists. His face is inside each and every one of us. And after a year, you know what I came to the conclusion of? He hates us. Something terrible.
My mentor always said, he resides in heaven because he fears what he's created.
Yeah. From what I'm hearing, that sounds about right. She starts walking up the stairs to change. Get ready to go meet the neighbors.
Faust goes ahead, checks his watch. Now is the time to meet with Officer Castaneda. He leaves the house, making sure to lock the door behind.
In the meantime, we're going to find out what Noel and Ray are up to. Wandering the streets of this domain, the two of you are in a vehicle together,
Walking.
walking out
It's
for
a
a
walk.
You're probably only a couple of blocks from the coterie house where we pick you up.
Ray strolls. She's a lot more comfortable with the area now. After last night. And as they walk, she stops every now and then to check the marks that she left behind. Checking to make sure that nobody's messed with them. Or that nobody's left their own mark underneath.
You're not seeing anything so far, but you're only a couple of blocks from the house.
That's right. Okay, Bunny boy. I've already shown Faust this. but she points at one of the marks. That's what we're going to use for communication. Or at least me. I don't know about you guys.
If
If you're
wish to
wondering
use
if I'm in the
marks,
area. If I wish to use marks.
If you wish to use marks, by all means.
What do you use?
Mixture of different things. Depends on who I want to talk to.
Okay. If somebody wants to get in contact with you, how do they do it?
I'll direct Kine to a disposable line. Kindred. Depends on the kindred. Modern. Those who are modern feel safer with a phone in their hands, and at the very least, you can use it to negotiate meetings where one can talk face to face. If I'm looking to talk with someone older, on the other hand, I'll use a mark.
Interesting.
Traditional methods for traditional people and modern methods for the modern.
So you think I'm a traditional person?
No, I think you stay away from technology for other reasons.
You'd be right. So, you're not from San Antonio, are ya?
I've been here about 12 months. But no.
What brought you here?
Getting out of Houston,
Houston.
where the Camarilla and the Anarchs are locked in a Cold War.
So what? You got too cold for ya?
No, it was more a matter of a particular pact was formed between the sect that I actually come from, that my sire comes from, and the Camarilla, and she and I wanted no part of it.
Smart move. Smart move indeed. So, how come you didn't want part of the cami?
I can respect what their rules are and why they exist, but my sire didn't want to be part of that system. And I can agree.
Why?
Before I answer that question, just out of character, I need to ask, given that my sire is traditional Ashira and has relations back to the homeland of the Middle East,
Yes.
would she have shared anything about what's going on over there, or would she know anything to have shared with me about what's going on over there? In just a general sense? Not looking for any specifics there.
She's been living in the United States for quite a while. You know that she's not very young, but she's not very old either.
Old.
And so,
Okay.
but she spent maybe half of her existence so far in the United States.
Yeah.
And so, what's going on the Kindred level in the Middle East, she may not know, or at least she didn't tell you.
Okay. a lot going on. I couldn't necessarily say what. I don't have any specifics about anything, as far as all of that is concerned. But there's... My sire may have known of something going on that she didn't want herself or myself to be a part of, and as such, whisked away. Live a more independent existence, which, if you want to be amongst your own kind, in terms of kindred kind, that is, the Anarch movement is your stop.
Interesting. So, you agree with Cami rule, but you don't want to be a part of it.
No, I see why their system is built as it is and why it exists as it is, but I don't agree with what it is.
Man, you're turning my head inside out.
It's like an artist finding a different art style that he doesn't particularly like. He may not like the art style, but he can appreciate a perfect form of it when it comes along.
Uh-huh.
In this case, it's more a matter of the rules don't fit me or my sire, and we wished not to have a part of it, so we left.
Right. Okay. Jesus. I thought Faust was the one I was going to have to keep an eye on.
Oh, I would if I were you.
Oh, you don't need to tell me twice. But you...
It's
what you just said.
what, you're thinking I'm gonna pack up shop and defect?
That's not the worry. No, that's not the worry at all.
Then what is the worry, Ahura? What is it that you're
Packing
worried
up
about?
shop isn't the problem. But what you just said to me, you'd be dumbass to say that to any Anarch. You can see the artistry of Cami law. God, that's disgusting.
I can, but sometimes art looks like a wonderful sunset, and sometimes it looks like a pile of vomit and broken glass on the floor.
Let me put it to you like this. It's not art. It's a cage.
Yes, and well, and he would say, glance to her. Animals don't like being put in cages, do they?
No, they really don't. Neither do people.
A certain phrase that a certain prince comes to mind, Ahura. She will be leashed.
Nobody likes being put on a leash. And the Cami seems to think that all kindred should toe the line. Whether you agree with it or not.
Ahura, on your statement of people don't like being leashed, there's an entire subculture that would disagree with you heavily on that statement.
Oh my god. Get your fucking mind out of the gutter, you grot.
It's not a matter of my mind being in the gutter, it's a matter of some people like actually being subjugated for some reason. I don't see the appeal in it, But
and it's fucking gross.
my, how judgy.
If you want to live your life under somebody else's thumb, then yeah, you deserve to be fucking judged. And it's the will behind it.
Oh, you are amusing. Hooray. Truly
You
amusing.
reckon? You reckon?
Oh, it's not a matter of reckoning. It's pretty solid fact at the moment. But no, I'm really not the one that you should be worried about. If I wanted to be Camarilla, I wouldn't have left Houston.
Yeah, I don't know about that. But I guess we'll
Yes.
see.
Yes, come to the city where all of 12 months ago, a war between the Anarchs and Camarilla came out. As a Kami, that's a smart decision for any Camarilla that
Well,
would be there.
For all anybody
Not.
knows, you could have come in with them. That's something to consider, isn't it?
Well, see, that's why I'm worried about Faust, because he is from the place that they came from. I'm not.
Interesting deflection. But go on.
It's not
Make
so
your
much
case.
Faust. It's not even Faust that I'm worried about. The poor boy's gonna try so hard to live up to his clan name, and yet I feel like I could walk all over him.
And what about you? You reckon you can't be walked all over?
Oh, there's someone who could most likely step on me. In fact, there are several people in this city. I'm sure the Baron's number among them, at the very least. But it's not Faust that I worry about, but his betters, who I'm sure are in the city.
Really?
I doubt he came here alone. His sire or a mentor of some kind. I'm sure he didn't come alone. I'm sure there's someone in the city offering him advice. And it's not him that I would be worried about because, well, as has been seen, he can be influenced. Slowly but surely. Yes, he can.
Huh. Explain this.
Happily, but not while we're standing here. Let's continue walking.
Ray hasn't stopped walking this whole time.
Oh, well, I thought she stopped to examine
Oh yeah,
the
she
mark.
checked it and then kept going.
Oh, she checked and kept going? Okay. Well, in that case, scratch that.
Yeah, you all are walking and talking.
Yep. It's very simple. I look at Faust. And I see someone who wears his lineage on his sleeve. Tries to be the gentleman. In fact, you can see that in how he interacted with Marjani. And he very quickly got put in his place.
But he did. I do remember her snapping at you too. What's so funny, kid?
Yes, I was amused. She asked me what was funny. I shared what I found funny with her, and that was the end of that little interaction.
I wouldn't be so sure that's the end. It's never the end of that interaction.
No.
Even now, we're still doing an interaction with her, even though we don't know it.
Oh, I'm aware. It's why I don't, what's the word? Trust Marjani.
You
But
don't
no,
trust
you what?
Marjani.
No, I don't trust Marjani. And I know she doesn't trust us, so on that, we have a mutual agreement. And it is upon that mutual distrust that a proper relationship forms, and we get things done. But, no, on the topic of Faust. With the way that he was acting, it's very obvious that he doesn't have a lot of experience with interacting with his Anarch contemporaries. And in that, one can shape his interactions and therefore his mindset by simply introducing him to the right people.
Really? So who are these right people?
More of his Anarch contemporaries. People older than us. So, Marjani is one, but there are other domain holders around here that would do just as good of a job in shaping his mind. It falls into the category of I don't believe he knows how to act in accordance with manners. He doesn't know what the code of etiquette is for Anarchs.
That's hilarious.
These are simply observations and nothing more. But if it's true, then you and I, specifically you and I, as unfortunately Maria is too busy fighting off the stigma of what it is that she is, have an opportunity.
Really?
Yes, it's rare that one of a clan who are known as some of the toughest pillars of the communities that they find themselves in. It's rare that one is so malleable, so like putty. I actually can't hear you at the moment, Mox. The Discord is derping. Hold on.
Mox? Mox?
Discord is derping. I just sent a message to be like, "Hey, Discord is derping. Should be back in a sec."
Hello?
There we go.
There we go. Yeah, your Discord's so derping.
Ray bursts into laughter. She's got that big grin on her face. You really haven't talked to Faust much yet, have you?
Directly? I think he and I have had a conversation, but otherwise...
Oh, yeah, I'm gonna be keeping my eye on Faust. But you're something else. Oh boy.
If
You
you really
know,
feel like you want to divert your attention like that, then by all means, go ahead.
divert my attention. Oh, oh, Banu boy. Little baby. Have you not yet realized what you just fucking said to me? Are you trying to put a wedge in this coterie before we've even gotten fully established?
No, actually, quite
You
the
just
opposite.
made yourself so suspicious.
Yes, and if you wish to waste time on paranoia, then by all means,
Is it paranoia though?
it is.
Because I think in your case, it's not paranoia. I think you're too smart for your own good. And I think your mouth likes to keep on running.
If that is what you think, I'm not going to try and change your mind. Simply watch. See what
Watching.
happens. See what happens over the next few nights. I think you might be surprised.
I think you might be too. Regardless, I didn't just bring you out here to question you.
No, you did have something in mind. I'm assuredly. I mean, aside noting that you're starting to put marks everywhere.
As I've been walking throughout the domain, have I noticed any homeless or any signs of homeless?
Make me a wits plus streetwise. You're seeing some signs, yeah. You're seeing, along with the markings that you've been putting on, like trees and buildings and things, you also see small little marks that uh, might be indicators of maybe some safe spots or messages. You're not sure on the exact meaning of them, but you have seen similar marks to this before. And San Antonio is just another culture of that marking system that you're going to have to learn over time. You haven't been here long enough to know the meaning of them, but you know that they're there. You see the marks.
Ray gestures to a set of marks. He's like, see these?
I see them.
What do you think these indicate?
Would I be able to try and identify them?
That would be an intelligence streetwise.
Happily. Would a black market specialty apply here?
Not specifically to this, no.
Alright.
Okay. You've been in the city for a bit now, and you've traveled a little bit through the city, even though that you've been mostly keeping out of sight. That doesn't stop you from having the knowledge to know where to hunt. And you've learned in this particular city that some of these are indications of calling cards for specific people. or warning signals.
Warning signals. Marks of the kindred. Placed around
You
to
reckon?
mark. Placed around to mark territory, make contact.
How about marks of the homeless in the area?
No, you would know that
Ma-
that's what that means. Warnings to other
That they're
homeless.
homeless. That they're homeless marks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That this will be a place where you can find people of that nature. Where they
She
may
taps
hang
it.
out with.
She taps the marks with the back of her knuckle. And she says, I see, when I look at this, domain security.
You wish to utilize the homeless as a security system for the domain.
An information network.
That sounds about right. That would be something I would leave to you.
You reckon? I would have thought you might have wanted a hand in this.
Oh, I do. And I'll have a hand in it, don't you worry. But setting it up... You walk these streets. Or... In a more frightening term, stalk them. You're seen out and about. And you could be a public face.
No, I couldn't.
To them, you could.
Nah. That's not really what we do. Me and mine. But you're right. I can set up a network. But now I know there are people like this in the area.
You have a foundation to start from. Means you don't have to start crawling around through alleyways and diving into dumpsters.
Tell me, what do you know about the drug industry in this city?
That's a good question. What do I know?
Based on... Well, that's more of a... Yeah, that's another intelligence streetwise, and that would be a black market specialty.
Yeah, happily. Same amount of successes, but
Okay. You know that the popularity of certain substances varies based on region in the city. You know that the rich obviously like the harder, more expensive stuff, where most every lower class person goes for the cheapest. And in the case of this particular domain, you know that the trade in street narcotics is, while not super high, is lucrative.
would I know what the buzz is around here?
You would know that the drugs that sell off the shelves, quote unquote, the most are weed and heroin, with a dash of meth in there for good measure.
You wouldn't believe it, Ohure, but I actually know quite a bit about the drug trade in this city. If we're talking in this domain in specific, low volume but highly lucrative. Focus on weed and H. A little bit of meth, probably slight smattering of prescriptions. You know, your Xanax, things like that.
Fuck. H and ice. God damn it.
Well, having a look, I would know that this place is kind of low on the socio-economic ladder.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that's what happens in low socio-economic areas such as these ones. They make it cheap, they palm it off cheap, it's intense, and then it wears off to nothing. And it's
That means I'm
exceptionally
gonna have to be
addictive.
checking for track marks. Fuck.
Probably a good idea, actually. It's probably good that you pointed that out. It would be an idea to warn Maria and Faust that they take a bite out of someone on the domain. There is a likely chance that blood might be tainted with something. And the last thing I need is someone like Maria taking a bite into someone and getting high on heroin or meth. Oh, I don't want to imagine Maria on meth. Oh.
Yeah. It's one that I tend to stay away from. Have a bit of an epidemic of that in Australia.
Yeah, heard a little bit. That crystal meth. Ice, you guys call it, right?
Yeah. Ice.
Yeah, it's a bit of a problem. But frankly, I think that that's something that we should clean up. If for nothing else, then it's tainting the food supply.
Yeah.
It'll make domain improvements. Then at the very least we can avoid. Weed is weed, and if money gets pumped into this place, I'm sure some cocaine sales will start passing pans. But
Coke is dealable. Meth and H are not good.
So then we have a foundation starting point on how to improve this domain. Paying the rent, as Marjani put it.
Yeah. Except, I wonder if that's intentional.
We'd have to look. The signs would be there if it is. And if that's the case, then we need to figure out why.
Oh, you've been here for a year. Do you know anything about the illegals in the area?
I suppose that's a good question, isn't it? Do I know anything about the illegals in the area? I mean, out of character, I know that there's that organization that Doc used to work for. I'll make another roll if need.
No, based on the streetwise roll that you made before, you don't know of any names. You don't know of any or what they're called. But they're organized. You know that there's some kind of organization here.
There's a syndicate here.
Whether it's a syndicate or whether it's a band of smaller groups, you're not positive. There could be multiple organizations here. You don't know the specifics.
I don't know too much about that, but I can tell you this: there are organized bands, at least one, if not more.
I have to get in touch with them. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've got a little bit of problem when it comes to eating.
As
When I
some
feed,
kindred do.
people don't survive. If you get my drift.
That would mean one thing to me, or at least I'm pretty sure that would mean one thing to me. Would I have ever heard of anything that would pertain to that? I'm not
People
sure what
die
my
all the
character
time
knowledge is right now.
People die all the time when it comes to a kindred who goes out of control. She could be meaning that. She could be meaning something else. You don't know. Not unless you ask her.
So is it a control problem, or because people die all the time through kindred feeding?
It's not a control problem. People don't survive when I eat. People die when I eat. And there's no getting around that. Can I be heard, or is my Discord dabbing? Oh,
Yeah.
there we go.
No, you could be heard. Then so long as I'm not being called to dispose of leftovers and you clean up after yourself, we have no problems.
There aren't leftovers.
Why aren't there leftovers?
Do I have to repeat myself?
The only reason why there wouldn't be any leftovers is either A, you're sticking them in barrels of lye, which I doubt, or B, and what seems to be the more likely case, when you say people die when you eat, that eat's a lot more literal than just drinking blood, isn't it?
You could put it like that.
Right, well, so long as...
Does that make you uncomfortable?
Not as much as you might think.
But that raises a problem. If the local populace is on weed, heroin, and ice, and I have to eat. You see where I'm going with this?
It's a problem for all of us, not just you.
Yeah. But the
That's why
population is gonna dwindle. Eventually, I'm gonna have to move.
which means if you wish to stay here more than a little while, or if we wish to stay here more than a little while because we need to stick together, you know, what with the Baron saying that is something that we need to do as a coterie, as you put it, means we need to have more people coming into the area, and people won't be coming into the area if everyone's shooting up and hires a kite on methamphetamines.
Ding, 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 ding.
So it means it's something that we're gonna have to clean up. I mean, we were gonna have to do that anyway if we wanted any hope of feeding without having tainted blood. Now we're going to have to do it just regardless.
I was
Yeah, high
going
priority.
to use the criminal underbelly. Maybe use illegals. For a little while at least. Especially since Castaneda's in the area. I wasn't kidding when I said she's sharp.
I wouldn't bother trying with the illegals in this city. They're too organized. Solo operators normally either get destroyed or get assimilated. That's how things like that work. So
people always need to go missing, though.
Well, if that's a thing that you wish to offer, I don't know how to get in contact with them, but it's something that you could look into at the very least.
Yeah.
I would just warn that if there's any kind of organization above something very small, there's a very good chance that another kindred might have their fingers in that pie. So if you decide to do that, I would advise a heavy amount of caution.
Of course. Alright. Well, that's all I needed to know from you. Shall we head back now? Or do you want to go for a drink?
No, I'm good right now. And I'd rather not have to check my how you say food before I eat it.
No, that wasn't what I meant by a drink. But okay.
What do you mean, like alcohol?
Yeah.
And what piques your interest with that?
Have you noticed something about the local populace? This particular domain, the whole city, actually.
It's one of the few things that unites them together, drinking.
Yeah, that's right. And sports. What happens with drinking in sports? They happen in pubs and bars. Information
You cut out the...
exchange of information happens in pubs and bars.
So, are you thinking
Money.
hunting for information and money?
Money also changes hands in pubs and bars, be it through gambling or the purchase of drinks. You can make a lot of friends in places like that.
You can. But you can also make a lot of enemies.
That's true too.
And if this is really as deep of an issue as I'm thinking that it is, those kinds of connections need to be made with a plan. lest we draw unwanted attention to what we're trying to do, which this then makes things a lot more messier than we'd really like to deal with.
Well, while you plot and plan away, I'm gonna go talk to some people. You can come with or you can stay here.
I think it might be best for me to go warn Maria and Faust that our food supply may very well be tainted.
Very well. Actually, maybe they would like to come along too. We'll see. I'll come
Make it a
back
full
with
outing.
you. And with that, Ray starts making her way back towards the haven.
And
Yep,
for-
and we're both heading back to the Coterie Haven. Marie and Faust might want to know that the blood supply here in the domain might be tainted.
And for the moment, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back and see what Maria and Faust have been up to before the coterie reconvenes. Back in about 5 minutes, everyone. Welcome, everyone, to San Antonio by Night's Aftermath. The continuation today of episode 2. Faust has arranged a meeting with an officer, Olivia Castaneda, a beat cop that seems to have a bit of an in with this particular domain, as far as Faust is concerned. She's a beat cop, often with her partner in hand, and possibly knows a good number of the issues going on with this domain, as well as some things that Faust will be looking into as far as putting his finger on that pulse. And so, nearing 11 o'clock, Faust finds himself in a park. A large park. Kind of deep in this park. It's surrounded on all sides with the residential area of what is to be known as the Gardendale section of the city. And he's called Officer Castaneda here for what purpose, Faust?
Tonight I'm going to leverage myself a foot in the door with the local law enforcement. Well, initially I called Castaneda because I, quote-unquote, claim to have more details on a particular event that happened last night. That is, a hurry nearly beating a man to death and, well, my careful crafting to try and avoid any trouble in that regard. Realistically, it gave me an opportunity. Now, the only problem is whether she wanted to admit it or not. There is a difference between saying not to get caught in an interaction with a police officer. It's reasonable. Known statement. And the comment, don't kill anyone. Don't kill her. At first I was just thinking maybe Officer Costanera was some sort of contact, just someone that happened to be associated with her Ray by circumstance, but now I understand. There's more to this. I don't want to disrespect a Hurray. But this is also an opportunity that I can't ignore. I must ensure that Costaneda stays safe under my stewardship. For whatever that means in this moment.
Before too long, you see a San Antonio police car start driving towards the park. And a pair of officers get out. They leave their lights on. At least the parking lights. But you see a pair of women. You see Officer Costaneda that you saw before, and what you presume to be their partner. Start to walk up.
I stand up off of the bench that I was seated upon. I brush myself off. Thank you so much for meeting me tonight.
You said this
It
was
was
important, Mr. Beaufort.
Yes. Very. I'm gonna be honest, I've been a little on edge lately, so I apologize if I seem unruly. There was a bit of a predicament that's been going on lately. Part of the reason why I requested you come out here instead. I'm worried, you see, that if I went ahead and offered you my home, place of address at this time, and had you come by, that it would change the circumstances, that maybe it might exaggerate it. But I'm so sorry.
I'm not sure I understand.
Since the event last night, I've been followed.
Followed.
Yes. An estranged figure. I don't know who they are, but they dress themselves in a black suit. Now, provided there are many individuals I interact with in black suits, myself included, but black suit, short, black hair, very short. And I noticed they smoke.
And Olivia kind of looks to her partner. She sees that her partner's writing everything down.
If I could, there are a few instances I'd like to report. Just on a paper here. Do you have a file that I could work with?
I mean, if this is gonna need to be an actual report, I'd need you to come down to the station.
I see. Very well.
If you want to actually pursue this, Mr. Wulford, that's...
At this time, I just need it on record. I'm uncertain about my safety at the time, so... I just needed to make sure that it was notified, and if anything escalates at that point, then I will...
Do you know this person's name?
I'm afraid not.
Okay.
This figure's been following me around town lately. And I just need some eyes on the area.
What area are we talking about? Because it might not be in my jurisdiction.
You were within the neighborhood last time I checked.
Okay.
Now then. That being said, it was just... I didn't want to risk any probability of this being influenced if I went ahead and made the report back at my home. Maybe that would encourage some sort of violence.
You don't feel safe at your home.
I feel safe at the moment. But I'm not sure what the other party knows or is aware of in terms of my well-being.
And this is someone you don't know personally.
No. Like I said, I've noticed that I've been followed since reporting the case yesterday. With my friend.
Right. Right. Okay. Okay. Let's see. And she'd kind of go over with you a little bit of what the police procedure would be in this particular case. I personally don't know what that would be. And kind of informs you that you could either leave it as it is, or you could file official reports for having a stalker, and there's the possibility that someone could be arranged to scope out your home while you're there.
If I could be so forward. Pardon. Miss Costaneda, Officer Costaneda, if I could speak with you more privately.
If this is official business, Mr. Buford, my partner is to remain here. And you see that she gets a bit more tense.
I activate awe. It's of utmost importance that I relay private information to you, Costaneda.
Okay. I would like you to make a charisma, persuasion plus awe. Difficulty 3.
Nice.
2 minutes. I'm not supposed to be attending personal business on the clock, Mr. Buford.
Very well. Ma'am. And I look to the her partner.
Mm-hmm.
If you could kindly wait here,
You
I'd
see,
appreciate it.
you see that her partner is also tense, but nods, putting a hand on her hip as if she's at a moment's notice ready to pull her weapon.
I go ahead and leave. Lead Castaneda out more towards the tree line. Am I able to kind of drag her out of earshot and I guess eyesight as well?
She stops about 20 feet, but she doesn't leave the light of the park.
How annoying.
So what kind of personal business do you got, Mr. Buford?
It's regarding my friend,
Your friend,
Ray.
Ray. What about Ray?
It seemed as if you two had made some encounters before.
Yeah, I've met her.
I've been friends with her for some amount of time. I was just... You understand that as an upstanding individual, I'm suspicious. What exactly are your affiliations?
I believe that's between me and Ray, Mr. Buford. She's never made a mention of you.
We're roommates, ironically.
Recent roommates?
Yes.
That'll explain things. But why would you lie to me, say that you've known her for a while, then?
Because it's not unusual for us to have known each other for some time. We've been colleagues before. I just didn't understand, well, what kind of circumstances she's been in before. I have a particular agreement with the landowner, and I just need to be aware. Is there anything I should be... Faust just makes a face like... suspicious?
She cocks a brow at you. I don't know what you mean.
Does she have a record?
Does she have a record? Well, that's a question you should be asking her, Mr. Buford. As her roommate.
You know she wouldn't tell me. If it means shelter. Not to say that I'm trying to extort her, but rather by agreements of the landowner. I haven't seen anything or heard anything, so to speak. But
Then you got nothing to worry about.
if you could. I hold out my hand, and I look Castaneda in the eye. I use Mesmerize.
Okay. What
Please
is...
take a brief walk with me.
Okay. I still want you to roll Mesmerize. Because she's suspicious of any kind of weird activity right now, and so she's not unprepared. It's going to be a difficulty 2.
Ugh. Alright.
Okay. And rouse for me.
Yep.
Thankfully you don't get hungrier. But she does start to walk with you, and that does mean that her partner can see that she's walking away. And her partner starts to walk alongside. Not terribly close, but definitely starts to walk with.
I just look behind myself, make eye contact with her partner. Cloud memory. Forget it.
Okay. Roll me a cloud memory difficulty 2.
Just...
Okay. Her partner seems to go dazed for a moment. And you see this as your opportunity to do what you feel like you need to.
Yep. I just lead Castaneda into the bushes.
Mm-hmm.
Fairly out of sight. And while she's still mesmerized, can I issue an additional complex command to her?
If you are willing to rouse again.
It says, vampire can issue complex commands, plural, to a victim. Does that not mean more than one?
Technically, but you also broke it by separating your attention.
Ah.
Yep.
Fine.
Yep, because you can only mesmerize or compel or cloud memory one person at a time when you make eye contact.
Very well. I go ahead and issue Castaneda another command. You'll go ahead and continue your shift, as per your usual arrangement tonight. But when your shift is over, you will go ahead and walk back to this park, and you will do push-ups until 4 a.m. Oh no.
Okay. Trying to...
Is that a bestial crit?
No, that would be a regular crit.
Regular crit.
In the case of mesmerize, however, because it sounds like you're trying to submerge directive. In the case of memorize, it's an action that can be carried out immediately to the victim's best ability. So if you wanted her to do something after her shift, that would be a submerged directive instead.
No, I'm telling her very specifically. Like, if she knows things, it's not like I can pull out memories from her. No. But if she knows things naturally, then naturally speaking, she would know the time of her shift.
Right.
Okay.
The instructions must be carried out immediately, so...
Okay. Then we'll put it like this. You will behave accordingly to the commands of your partner, your police partner, as best to your abilities, and directives from your office. And return to me at 4 a.m. here at this park.
Okay.
Does that work?
That can work.
Well, this is going to be a weird night for her, but...
Yep. Her face remains blank. She doesn't really move.
I go ahead and return from the line of sight. See her partner. Oh, I guess I need to do a rouse check, don't I?
Yep.
This is such a pain.
Thankfully, when you command the blood to issue a command to Olivia, it doesn't make you any hungrier, but you're still pretty famished. You could eat.
I return to Officer Duncan, who is more or less dazed.
Was dazed for a bit, isn't anymore.
I wave her down. And I explain to her. I believe your partner is a bit on the tired end. She may need a little more instruction on your part. If you're able to lead for the night, I'm sure she would appreciate it. And in general, tonight. I appreciate your time. And I activate awe as well when I say that again.
Okay. This will be a charisma subterfuge. Or manipulation subterfuge. Awe does not apply.
Awe does not apply.
Because that's persuasion checks.
This has been a messy evening. Whee.
She's suspicious of you, and she doesn't leave. She doesn't take her eyes off of you, but she goes. She asks you, "Where is Officer Castaneda?"
Oh, she's just writing some notes there in the bushes. If you could go ahead and call her along. I appreciate the evening. I'll be seeing myself away.
That... She just watches you for a moment. She watches you intently as you walk away.
I'm sure she does.
And as you walk away, you see that you hear that Sophia starts to shake Olivia, try to knock her out of her daze, but seems unsuccessful so far. Castaneda seems to follow her instructions, but doesn't respond when spoken to hardly. And you start to walk away.
You know, this could have been a lot easier if I could just get the partner out of the way, but frankly, wasn't all too sure how. Well, they're suspicious of me. I suppose it won't matter soon.
For
It
now.
won't matter at all.
Are you headed back to the coterie house, Faust?
No. No.
Where are you headed?
What time is it?
Probably 11:30.
Excellent. I'm gonna go ahead and, head to Tom's bar.
Okay. Let's find out what Maria's been up to in the meantime. You've been kind of perusing the neighborhood on your own, while Hooray and Noel are off in one particular section. You are drawn to a specific neighborhood yourself. A neighborhood you know pretty well.
Yeah, gotta end up reminding myself that some things take time. I'm still settling in with this coterie thing. But right now, I'm focusing in on the neighbors. I probably already made it a point to talk to our exact neighbors to our haven, but more accurately just to issue an apology on how I work all day and the only time I can do any kind of reno is immediately after work. So, of course, I don't want them to worry too much about it, but, well, unfortunately, my roommates aren't exactly handyman, so just left a little old me. I think I might even ask you if I can borrow a cordless drill or something. Just enough to end up getting involved. Currently going through the neighborhood, seeing for sale signs or anything like that. Specifically, I'm walking around. I'm keeping a whistle around my neck. Weird little thing, but it gives me an excuse. Figure I end up stopping by an old friend's house. When I end up, heading over to Tim's place. He's a mild man for the most part, hardworking, but, well, I say that, but reality is this is more of a stay-at-home, family man kind of individual. Loves his kids. It's weird thinking that I'm not gonna have any anymore. God, every time I end up thinking about this situation, it just feels worse. I've kind of come to a sudden realization of one more thing I've lost. I approach to Tim's doorstep, give the door a knock. He knows I'm a night owl, and I try my best not to wake him up too late, but hopefully I caught him just before bed.
And you knock on the door, and you see Tim's wife, Alana, answer the door.
Oh, Alana, dearie, it's so good to see you again.
Oh, Maria. Oh, I just get off of work or something?
Always, the day 9 to 5's absolutely brutal, but when it ends up turning into 11 to 8, it's a whole nother thing.
Right. Come on in.
Thank you. Maria steps in.
Yeah, Tim's around here somewhere. Do you want something to eat? To drink?
I wish I could, but fact of the matter is I can't stay long. Hell, I don't want to keep you all up all night. But what kind of person would I be if I didn't stop by while I was in the neighborhood real quick?
Sure. Yeah. What brings you around? And you see that from another room in the back of the house, Tim does walk in to the room.
Damn. So good to see you. Yeah. Alana's keeping you on short leash, I'm sure.
Always. But you know what? I chose this leash. It's fine.
Yeah, well.
She just...
Could be stuck with...
Alana just chuckles.
Still like you in the honeymoon phase. That's real love there. Still. I'm sorry to bust in on you, Tim, but I thought I might do some catching up, and just haven't checked in on the neighbors, and job's taking me out, and I'm currently trying to end up doing some renovation work to end up earning as a bit of a side hustle, and yeah, just been stretching my time real thin, so I gotta find my opportunities where I can.
Right. You want some tea or something?
No, like I was telling Alana, I can't stay long, but I thought I would end up dropping by, see how you two and the kids are doing.
The girls are busy with homework, I think.
Good, keeping them working. I'll get right to the point. I was hearing ungodly rumors. I just wanted to know what you end up hearing. I hate to be one of those here whispering widows, sitting in a knitting circle, but you and I both know I'm more comfortable with the power drill than I am with the crochet hook, so...
Yeah.
But
what do you want
I've
to
been
know?
worried.
What do you mean? You see that Tim gets kind of concerned, and Alana's kind of retired herself to the kitchen somewhere.
Oh, Tim, I'm just looking out for the girls because I ended up hearing this ghastly rumor about substance abuse, to my understanding. Been working its way in the neighborhood, and I'm concerned on who the hell is really getting this together. I don't know. I'm getting a little worried myself. I mean, like I said, I'm working so much that I don't even have time to be home, and I don't want to end up going home and suddenly find out the door's been kicked in.
Yeah, this isn't exactly the best neighborhood, if I'm quite honest, but it's what people can afford around here, so myself
Well,
included.
Yeah, I know. And Tim, you deserve the best for you and your family. So, but I'm concerned. Like, what did you hear? Like, you know that's a good neighborhood, but you've been here sight longer than me.
A lot of the same. That's just like I don't know. I've not witnessed anything myself, but word on the
But you
street
heard
is
something.
word on the street is that there's drugs and people bar up their houses because they're worried that their shit's gonna get stolen.
I can definitely end up understanding that. What precautions have you taken?
Well, I set up an alarm system just the other week.
Oh, okay. Good to end up hearing. You end up, you take Lisa up on that offer to buy her old coat.
God damn. Fuck. She offers it to me every day. Like, swear to God, that woman is too gun nut.
She's just worried about you and the girls, Tim.
Yeah, I know she means well, but it's pestering when it's every day. I don't know how
Maybe.
Saeed puts up with it.
I'm pretty sure Saeed ends up spending most of his time trying to end up here figuring out on how to end up here keeping Mama happy. After all, in the household, Mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Yeah, I suppose that's one of the reasons why he's a big shot physician, right?
Yeah, well, works hard for it. I want to end up
give him
making,
that.
yeah. But what else have you heard, Tim? Come on, I know you end up spending a lot of time, and you here worry about the girls too.
Yeah.
I gotta worry about myself, and if somebody knows something, I need friends who are looking out. I wouldn't be coming here to you about this if I wasn't willing to end up lending a hand in some way.
Yeah, I know. You're a good
But I
kid,
gotta know what
Maria.
I'm dealing with. Funny, you still think me as a kid. But
I mean, you're a kid compared to me. Let's be honest here.
fair.
I mean, you're old enough to be a daughter of mine, so... I'm old enough for you to be a daughter of mine. Good God. But yeah, it's... weed. Narcotics.
Oh, who got busted?
Oh... Fuck. Forgot their name. They're new. Some... Honestly couldn't remember. It's...
You know where they're living?
Uh,
Tim, I know you can't get involved in these things, but I take the bullet for you.
you don't
You
need
know
to be
that.
getting involved in that shit, Maria.
Hey, I live here too.
What could you do?
You don't have to worry about that part.
The big shot detectives moved into the place and it still hasn't improved. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, a big shot detective who hasn't done shit. Well, I'll end up writing a formal letter then. But fact is I just need to end up. I need to end up knowing that friends and family are safe. And I do not feel safe in this neighborhood anymore, Tim. I don't feel safe in my own home anymore. And I'm not about to end up letting that happen.
Right, right.
So if I don't do something, what am I waiting for?
Alright. About 4 houses down. the Ramirez family.
What you know about him?
One of them got busted for having a crack den. Cooking up meth or some shit. That's all I know.
And
I'm
police
not about to
have
go anywhere near there.
I wouldn't expect you to, Tim.
You better not
I
either.
wouldn't expect you to. I won't.
Good.
But I'm glad to end up knowing I know where to end up keeping my eyes.
And you see that Alana comes back in the room, and she has indeed prepared 3 glasses of iced tea. With lemon, even.
No. Ain't that sweet. I'm rousing the blood.
Alright. You get a little hungrier, Miss Higgs.
That's fine. That's
Starts
about
to
to be
look at
cured.
Alana like she's a tasty treat as she's walking in.
Yeah. Yeah, could work. Guess on a technicality wouldn't be the first time. But no, I'm not about to end up doing that. Just gonna take the iced tea and... Lana, you shouldn't have. I told you, I can't stay long.
Nonsense.
Just sip the tea.
And she takes one of the glasses, hands it to Tim, and takes the third herself, and sits down on the couch. And Tim sits down on the couch next to her.
Well, I'll be honest, I was badgering Tim because I've been worried about the neighborhood lately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's what happens when you live on 20,000 a year each.
Hey. You two do all right by yourselves, and you end up taking care of your little girls. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah, they're not so little anymore. They're ravenous teenagers.
Yeah.
They eat
I'm sure
everything out of the
that
fridge.
I'm pretty sure they eat so much they're looking at you, and you wonder if you're next.
I don't. That's a little morbid.
Sorry. Current humor's been working on a few construction and renovation gigs lately, and some of the jokes those boys end up telling, I swear.
You've always been an oddball, but that's okay.
Please. I'm just in up there looking out for people around. And I was told that there was a bust that happened not too long ago.
Yeah.
Alana, I'm hoping you're keeping yourself well. I'm hoping you're keeping yourself well. You didn't happen to see anything either, right? Like, nothing weird's happening around your place. I pray to Jesus that you were going to be all right. Every night you're in my prayers.
That's appreciated. I appreciate that. But no, nothing weird's going on around here. Like, not in this immediate vicinity, anyway. Just the real ratty house down the block.
Ramirez's place, right?
Right.
Okay. I shoot back the rest of the iced tea. Put it down. I'm sorry. That's not how I wanted to end a conversation with my dearest friends. So how about I'm gonna be working on something in the next couple of days. I thought you two might want to end up knowing it. Looking at making a proper neighborhood watch. Look, if we don't start taking care of each other and keeping an eye out, no one will. That kind of behavior, is not welcome in these here parts, and it ends up turning into a case of people who are just getting by don't need to end up worrying about what kind of stuff is being pushed on their kids. So, I'm gonna end up making sure that you're. God dang it! I'm gonna make sure those little two girls of yours come up right. You don't have to worry about curfew because of what the hell they might end up getting into. Not in this neighborhood, not in my neighborhood.
All right, Tim says with a nod. Yeah, I like the idea of a neighborhood watch. Get some of our police friends in on it too.
I'm gonna do what I can for the organizing. But right now, it starts with neighbors being neighbors. Alright? Now, you two know how to get a hold of me in worst case scenarios. So, keep me informed. I'm working on something I'm hoping to be able to end up helping you out in the near future. If everything goes according to plan, but. Well. You know about what they say about
plans.
Mice and men. Yeah. God makes fools of us all.
Ain't that the truth?
Well, yeah, I don't mean to end up leaving you here more nervous than a long-tailed cat in a room full of rocking chairs, but want to end up here checking in. So, like I said, this is a little bit of a stop-off, and I'm just gonna end up going across, talk to Lisa, see what she's heard, what she's seen. Make sure that she doesn't end up going on any wild escapades and gets a itch in a trigger finger anymore.
That's the last thing we need.
Please. You say that now, but you know she'd give life and limb for you.
Well, of course she would. But
Chew your ear off too, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh yeah.
Now that being said, if there's anything else that comes to mind, do not hesitate to end up calling me, alright? It starts with us. Alright. You can let me know on how the kids' grades are doing, alright? Hopefully something special will be coming by. And who knows, if the new place is renovated, I might end up springing for a barbecue. Yeah, crack a couple of cold ones, if you will.
If you can cook up a fantastic brisket, my God, woman, you are gonna earn yourself some lucky son of a bitch.
Well, maybe.
It'll happen.
Sometimes. You hear that, Atlanta? Tim's trying to get me hitched. He's got a lonely brother or something?
No, I'm an only child.
Thank God for small blessings, then. Oh, now you just getting in on it. Maria says as she starts to make her way from the door.
Both Tim and Alana
You two
start
take care.
really giving it a chuckle.
You two have a fantastic evening now. I'll drop by in a couple of nights, seeing how it's going, try and catch you between shifts. And hopefully everything will end up turning out just fine. Maybe these things tend to sort themselves out.
Maybe. Here's hoping.
Yeah. And I make my way out of the door.
And you leave the Petersons?
Going to end up heading over to Lisa's place. She's right across the street. Still feeling that iced tea and trying to be mindful of the time because I know I'm about to throw that up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well. Nevertheless. Let's hope that everything's all okay here. Take a look at my watch, make sure that's not too... Don't believe it is.
No, it's about 11:30.
That's still a little late, but hopefully at least it's in a forgiving mood. Knock on the door.
And the person who answers is, in fact, Lisa. Damn it, girl.
At least it's so good to end up seeing you.
You're...
Um,
It's 11:30, girl.
Honey, you know full well that they don't end up letting me end up going near getting off shift early.
No.
And now with the renovation job that I'm here doing, at this point I am lucky that I end up having a hair to end up plucking off my head anymore. But I'm making time for people.
Yeah. Well,
So,
come on in.
appreciate it.
Would
Thank you.
never,
much.
ever tell you can't.
I'ma hold you to that. Now, that being said, I just came back from Tim's, and I was concerned. Obviously, I'm a little concerned. Something about a sting. Something went down. I think I heard the name Ramirez's place. You know anything about that?
I
I'm
don't
a
know any
concerned
specifics.
citizen.
I don't know any
I was
specifics. It's just what's been going around on the street. The neighbors, Tim specifically, has been talking to everybody about it. You know, because we gotta look out for our own. And well, I'm not gonna get into that. Drugs just, it's what everybody turns to when they're feeling like shit, and so there you have it.
maybe that's the case. I'm concerned personally, and especially with Tim and the kids. I don't need those girls going anywhere near that garbage.
Oh yeah, they got no business with that.
Yeah, but you know that they want to catch them young. I'm thinking of a plan here, Lisa, and I'm thinking of organizing something. Bit
Yeah.
of I need people I can trust. People I know that are community minded, such as yourself. I need people who can tell me what's going on, and I need people who are able to end up who actually care about their neighborhood and what the hell is happening to it.
Yeah, you're goddamn right.
I know. So here's what I'm thinking. In a couple nights, I'm thinking about throwing a barbecue. Just meet the neighbors, matched up with some of the people that I'll be working with, and some of the neighbors out in their way because I'm currently doing renovations on their place. And I'd like to end up getting a big old barbecue and case of beer. Maybe some brisket, I don't know, and end up trying to getting to know the particular individual, see who's around, who might want in on this. And more specifically, I'm thinking about organizing a proper neighborhood watch. I'm told that Tim was informed that an officer had just moved into the neighborhood, so I'm kind of curious. Maybe they might be interested in it. You end up talking to them at all?
Yeah, the Johnsons.
Johnsons.
Yeah, Deacon and Anita. They moved in a couple doors down.
Ah. I have to end up looking in them and give them a meet and greet soon.
Apparently Anita's Angie's sister?
Really?
Yeah, Angie Moore. You know her from, like, 2 blocks down.
Yeah. Okay. I think I might end up having to pay him a visit. You know if Mr. Johnson is off shift?
Might be. He's a detective. He usually does, kind of like swing
Fantastic.
shift or something. I don't know. Judging from, me being a nosy neighbor, judging from how often and how frequently their car leaves.
Lisa,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want you to take offense, but I kind of count on you being a nosy neighbor.
Yeah.
And if somebody's new in this neighborhood, and if it is a person with a badge, or if it's somebody with a carpentry skill, I want to end up making sure that neighborhoods welcome them properly. And hey, maybe this deacon might be able to. I don't know. Maybe he might be able to help out in some way.
Here's hoping. Because as soon as Saeed gets home from work and we shut that garage, nobody leaves this house.
Lisa, that reminds me. You said that you were selling your old Colt, trying to get Tim to buy it.
Yeah, Tim doesn't budge on that shit.
Yeah, give it time. Hopefully things don't get so bad that he reconsiders. So long as he keeps saying no, the neighborhood's in good hands. The second he says yes, then we're all in trouble.
Yeah, that's true.
Now,
I
that being
even
said,
offered to go with him to go get his license and to train him myself. I won't budge.
I might have to take you up on that right now. Maybe
With
when I
that
scratch
word.
up a little bit. Hey, if I scratch up the cash and you can end up pulling an all-nighter.
Ugh, that's the rough part. I'd have to really plan around that one.
Well, here's the future then.
The future.
Unfortunately, I gotta end up making this quick because obviously I got a lot of errands to end up running. But while I was in the neighborhood, I told myself I gotta stop in and see Lisa and Tim.
I'll tell Saeed you just said hi.
Of course. Much love to you. Take care now.
You too.
Deacon Johnson, huh? Is something. Now, did I hear right that he was in a relationship with an Angie?
You heard that Anita might be Angie's sister.
Anita might be Angie's sister. Okay. All right. So I'll start making my way down that way.
Okay. You start making your way towards the Johnson house, which is only a couple of doors down from your friend Lisa's, nosy neighbor as she is. And what's going through your mind approaching their home?
Not leaving anything on the table. I don't like it. I am trying to end up making sure that I'm covering all my bases, but right now, if there is police in my own neighborhood, I need to end up keeping them accounted for. I need to know what they know. I need to know what they're looking at, why they moved into this neighborhood, what the hell is going on, and especially when it comes down to dealing in this neighborhood, if they intend to end up dealing Tim's little ones, I am going to be taking personal offense to that one. Might be paying them a little visit tonight if everything gets a little heated and escalated, but right now, I am going to give the kind officer a chance to end up helping me clear my conscience and know that all will be settled. Hopefully, he's appreciative of the idea of a community watch. We can definitely end up using the support there.
And you do also know that it is approaching midnight at this point.
True. I'm gonna walk by the locale. If do any of the lights seem on? Like, there seem to be activity inside, or does it look like everybody's gone to bed?
High or low?
Hi.
Lights are on, including in the bedroom and in the front room. And the house isn't super soundproof. You can hear the fussing and crying of a baby.
I hear. I end up here taking a knock on the door real quick.
You hear a bit of muffled sounds. The baby starts to cry a bit more. But you see that a woman answers the door with a toddler in her arms.
Oh.
I'm sorry, who are you?
Good evening. My name's Maria Higgs. I'm actually one of your neighbors just down the street. Unfortunately, I work in here